Hey everybody. If you've ever been told that you need to address your childhood trauma and your stress patterns, or that you need to do brain retraining and you've tried those techniques and haven't gotten anywhere, this video is for you. My name is Carissa Conrad and I'm a doctor of physical therapy and therapeutic pain specialist, and I am the vagus nerve PT. Today, this clicked in my brain in a way that I have not understood it before. And so I wanted to make a point of making this video for you because this is a question that comes up really often in my coaching practice. It's a question I get emails about. It comes up a lot. Often when we have a chronic health condition, we are told that we should look at the way that we are responding to things in our environment, right? The way that we react to stressors. We're told to do brain retraining. We're told to address childhood traumas. We're told to do journaling. And all of these things are helpful. I want to frame it in a different way for you. So first of all, I've talked before about how important it is to establish safety in the nervous system first before beginning to address any of these issues, right? The brain has to feel safe enough to go into those old patternings, to be able to objectively sit back from our ingrained responses to things and the safety mechanisms that we've built into our amygdala related to childhood traumas, etc., before we can address them. I've said this analogy before. If you are walking along and there's a lion stalking you, there's no way your brain is going to let you go into your childhood traumas, right? It's not going to happen. So what I came to realize today is that in addition to that, there's a whole different way to frame that for your brain so that it's an exciting endeavor. And this the distinction between these things can seem small, but I want you to really sit with this as I explain it, okay? So a lot of the time, the framework around, brain retraining, addressing childhood traumas, journaling, etc., it is presented as though you are broken and you need to be fixed. So take a moment and sit with that messaging. How does it feel to think about being broken and needing to be fixed? For me, that doesn't feel empowering. It feels like it makes me smaller. It feels like I'm already 10 steps behind the starting line, and it doesn't give me a feeling of confidence that I can really successfully heal and move forward. What if the whole point of all of it, of everything that you're doing in life, is about bringing forward a true version of yourself, the truth of yourself that has nothing to do with any of those old patterns or that brokenness or the current brain pathways that your favorite neural pathway and all that stuff. What if it has nothing to do with that? I did a video last week, and I'll link that in here, talking about how we're all broken, right? We all have hurt, we all have pain, right? And what I'm seeing so clearly is that the journey, the whole point of all of this, of growing through life, is about becoming like a phoenix out of the ashes. It's this journey of discovering who I am underneath the brain pathways that I've operated out of my whole life, right? So there's some part of who you are that isn't the brain pathways. And that may take a moment, just to kind of sit with that concept. And I think we understand that because we know we're not our brain pathways, right? We know that we're not the familiar neural networks. Like those can be changed, right? So if the goal is to bring forward that truth, that realness of who I am, it changes the whole game. It changes the whole game on every level, in every relationship that you have and in every endeavor that you're undertaking, including recovering from chronic illness. So what does that look like in practice? So first of all, if I'm thinking about, wanting to address my reactions to my children, I can think about, isn't that interesting? Again, and I've said this before, isn't that interesting? I like that kind of language. Isn't that interesting that this experience is coming up in me when my kid was having a meltdown? And it must be coming up because it's time for me to shift and grow and heal. It has nothing to do with they need to be different. I must punish or change what my child is doing. It's I'm reacting in a way that is not in alignment with the truth of who I am underneath those well-worn pathways that my brain has. Then you can make that shift. You can address that. You could say, okay, this old pattern, it has to be cleared, and then I can move forward. And then there's a different conversation. There's a different interaction with your kiddo. It becomes a different way of structuring things so that you're teaching them how to behave, what the expectations are, and you're giving them parameters that are appropriate rather than reacting, right? And that's the case with every other relationship that you might have as well, when I talked about this in the other video before, whether that's coworkers or, whomever's in your life, your parents, etc. My favorite realization about this today is, what does that look like in romantic relationships? This is something I've been trying to figure out for like 15 years. Like, what is it? What is it we're doing? What is it that we're doing in romantic relationships? And again, as I'm coaching people in recovery from chronic health conditions, this comes up, right? Because the dynamic in our romantic relationships is so important to our physical and emotional health. They've done tons of research studies on this. So just for a moment, sit with this idea. How cool would it be if the relationship between you and your partner was about celebrating each other, growing into that fullness, like that truth of who you are, like becoming that phoenix? So what it looks like then is, first of all, setting that as the intention. Like, this is my goal for my life. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. I am putting in place this pathway for myself. And I want you to come with me, right? And stuff's going to come up. Things are going to happen, right? Like, oh, we had a disagreement about something. You feel this way about it, and I feel this way about it. And what comes up in me, and it's going to be something old, right? It's going to be something that happened to you when you were a kid. It's going to be, something that happened in an old relationship, or, whatever the case may be. And then it's, your experience is this, my experience is this. We're each going to heal our parts that are, whether you look at it like, that's my inner child, or, that's my, my trauma pathway in my brain. I'm a neuroscience person. So that's my, I'm like, it's going like that, and I want it to go like that. That's how I think. So how do I change that pathway in my brain? I'm going to do that. That's my healing. And then you're going to do yours. And then we're going to come together and figure out together how to get our needs met in this relationship. And we're going to celebrate for each other the growth that we each just had, and the shedding of that old pattern that we used to have. How cool, right? And I just feel, as I'm learning along with you, and I'm growing along with you, and I continue to heal my responses to things and that improves my health. When I put that in place, when I put in place that this is really about, I love the image of like a phoenix, right? Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. If that is really my goal, I feel so much more empowered. I feel so much more in control of my own journey and my own process. I get to drop all of this thinking like I need to make somebody understand me. I need to, I need to have them validate my pain. I need to make them, change their behavior so that I feel okay. I don't have to do that. I mean, like, think about that for a minute. Like, I don't have to do that. That's cool. I still have choice. I can choose, I can frame what I want. I can say, this is where I'm going. And how cool would it be if you came with me? And if not, you're going, like you're doing it, regardless of the status of the romantic relationship, say. And what a cool thing to do for your kids, right? To demonstrate, for them that process of, wow, we're having a challenge here, especially as your kiddos get into like, the preteen, teen years. I'm there with my oldest. And, thinking like, how do I help my kids navigate, and show them how to frame life so that they can be most successful and most in their power and most in control of their own experience. That's what I want to show them. And I just hope that I'm up to the task, of letting them see what that would be like. And so I think, for all of us, again, that have struggled with these nervous system dysregulation conditions, chronic health conditions that put your nervous system in a dysregulated state, and, we're told so much about how to heal, what we need to do to heal. If you've changed the framework, if you've changed the way you're looking at it, and you're stepping into your true power and ability to make those changes, because what you're doing is bringing something out that hasn't been expressed before, rather than coming from a place of, I'm broken and I have to be fixed, your whole outlook, I think, shifts completely. So thank you so much for watching this, and I hope that this was useful, and we'll see you on the next one.